Do you find yourself pulled in a million different directions? Like maybe there's just too much going on and not enough time in the day. Well, you're in luck because today's episode, we're going to be talking about how to pursue less. This is the Existential Stoic podcast. I'm Randy. That's Danny. What's going on, Danny?
What's up, Randy?
Danny, do you ever get overwhelmed with the number of things to do and not enough time?
Yes. Yeah, yeah. Especially things to do, actually. Like there is a lot to do and you can't do everything. You gotta be choosy. It's hard.
That's the worst part of it is that you can't do everything because I try my darndest to do everything and it just
I
gets me
know.
into a tizzy.
It is
Uh,
hard. Yeah.
well, fortunately, today we're going to share a few quick tips for how to pursue less. So I will go first. And this is one that I've started to practice and it's the hardest thing ever, but it's a practice, you know?
Yeah.
So it's
Not gonna be perfect.
yeah, it's stop when you feel rushed. Like
Oh.
whenever I get rushed, my inclination is to rush faster, because I think like, oh, I need to get a bunch of stuff done. I need to be somewhere. I need to do something. I should do it faster. And that never solves anything. It just makes me more stressed and it probably makes my performance worse.
I was
So
gonna it does, right? It totally tanks your performance and like your ability to think because you're stressed about everything else, you know?
yeah, I mean, there's that saying, slow is smooth, smooth is fast.
Yeah.
But it's the concept of when, like I heard someone say that like sometimes when he was really busy, he would just take the day off. And it's just like the most counterintuitive thing ever. But it probably works for a reason because yeah, something's not right if you're that busy. Because guess what? The world was doing fine before you. It'll do fine after you. It really doesn't matter what you're up to.
That makes me feel better because I do that sometimes. When
That's
I'm
great.
really stressed and really busy, I'll take an afternoon off because I'm like, this is too much. And then like usually when I come back, yeah, I think it's because I everything feels so rushed and stressed. When I come back, things are clear and it's easier to get done. It's weird. It like
Mm,
works really well. It like gives you a chance to like decompress or something. Because you get
mm,
stuck in that moment of like, gotta get stuff, gotta do that, gotta get there at this time, gotta do that. And it's like really, yeah, everything's gonna be fine. Everybody's doing fine without you. They'll be fine without you. It's okay, you know?
mm. Yeah, really. When you're in that, you're like stuck in a rut, which is really just a grave with two ends open.
Yeah, basically. I like that. It's good. It's like tunnel vision. It's all it is. That's a good one. My first one is stop external comparisons. I think this is like probably the best thing I think anybody can do for themselves for like, and it's hard. It is really hard because I still do it and I've been trying so long not to do it. But like, we all get like, you know, most people have gotten jealous of others that they know because they're doing something that they wanted to do or they're doing well at something they wanted to do or like looking at like social media and like wishing you had all this crap and like it's just it just creates negative feelings and depression. It doesn't help you get anywhere. It doesn't motivate you. Instead, look at how well you're doing, compare it to yourself, and look at how you're moving forward. It's a much better gauge of how well you're doing. And you actually see progress instead of you're always behind. When you look outside, there's always gonna be something better.
Mm.
Always.
Yeah, that's a great one. I mean, we live in a time where it's so easy to compare yourself with a million other people who are literally the top one in a million of,
Yeah.
it's crazy. Whereas if you actually look around in your physical environment, it's like, oh, you know what? I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah.
Like I
Yeah,
remember, I remember back when you were talking. I remember when I was back as a kid, and it was like, you would see a couple people on TV who were like cool. There was like Arnold Schwarzenegger, and it was like, yeah, be as strong as him, or Uncle Jesse from Full House, be as cool as him. But it's like there were two examples. Now it's just nonstop. Like you start going down this rabbit hole, and you just find more and more and more reasons to be discontented.
yeah, it's true, right? And it's like it's crazy, and it just makes you just unhappy. It doesn't help anything. Like if anything, I think it's the most demotivating thing in the world because you figure like you'll never get there. It's funny, even people that were like the top, like Einstein, even in his older age, he became like he was like he was starting to argue for things that were old and no longer, he was like outdated. It happens.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Yeah, I was actually surprised when I saw the Oppenheimer movie how he was like an old relic in that movie, and they kind of just like brushed him off.
yeah, it's
Crazy.
crazy, right?
Yeah. So my next one for how to pursue less is minimalism. Get rid of your junk. This because they say free your mind and your butt will follow or something like that. Uh, but it is because we think that we're in such the habit of thinking that our mind is disconnected from our body, disconnected from our spirit, from our environment, all these different
Yeah.
things. Well, guess what? They're all interconnected. And so, like, if your environment's a mess, if you have a bunch of junk, it's going to clutter your mind as well. And you're going to be doing, I mean, if you have a million things that you have to take care of, it's going to be really hard to pursue less because you have to take care of all these different things that you have. For anyone who hasn't gotten into minimalism yet or is looking for a place, there's a really good book called Goodbye Things because I read a whole bunch of books on them. I thought this one my favorite, my preference. So if
That's
you're
good.
looking for one, that's a good one.
Yeah, minimalism is helpful though. I was saying before, it's like I feel I have less now than I've ever had in terms of stuff, and it's like the best I've ever felt in relation to that stuff because it's stuff that the stuff I do have is stuff I really need. It's not like a bunch of crap. It's not in the way, and like I don't have to go looking for things either. Like, and it's not just like clutter of things like and you don't feel like guilt like I'm not using this. I got to use it. I'm not using it. Like I just feel bad about you just get rid of it. You don't need it, and just if you need something, you'll get it, and that's good, and then you move forward from there. It's a really
Mm-hmm.
helpful way to live, and it makes your mind a lot freer because you don't have all that crap around constantly kind of taking up space, both
Mm-hmm.
physically and mentally. Yeah,
Absolutely.
a good one. My second one for how to pursue less is get clear about what you really need because you can't take everything with you and you can't do everything. These are two truths about life, right? You can't take crap with you when you die. You can't do everything in the world. So figure out first what you need, what you want, and then just focus on that. Nothing else should matter. Those things are the only thing that matters, and the rest of it, you'll be fine. But you have to make those choices. You can't have everything.
That's a really great one. That relates, great segue to my last one, which is find out what's essential. This
Yeah.
is something that I ask myself over and over again, getting clear on what's truly essential because I get so distracted. And like I think I'm someone
Yeah.
who's not easily distracted. Like I'm not on social media all the time. I'm not watching the news. I'm not doing all these like socially acceptable addictive distractions, but yet I still get distracted because I say yes to things that I should say no to if I was aligned with myself, and I don't
Yeah.
say no to things that I should say no to. So like uh every once in a while I get distracted and I have to sit down, and journaling is really helpful for this to
Oh
help me
yeah.
find out what's important and where am I aligned with my values and where am I not.
That's really good too. Yeah. Using your yes and no actually for yourself, not just arbitrarily, right? Because then they have power and it is hard though. You have to know what really matters to you. And then when you're doing things that align with yourself, you just feel better because it's like what you actually want to do. It's not what somebody else wants you to do. It's not just, it's not like arbitrary obligations. It's like what matters to you the most is being done because you can't do everything. We all know this, but we try. And it just makes life way too hard because then you have no time to do anything, right? At least. I
Mm-hmm.
think my last one is, and I think this is important, is pursue experiences, not stuff. Because I think we have this inclination, especially like I know like a lot of people, especially in like the US, when you're upset, you buy new stuff or you get more things. And it's like there's like you get a slight burst of joy for like a moment, but that's it. But like they've done studies that show like when you do like new experiences and try things out, like those memories stay with you. And because memory changes over time, you actually get to like relive it over and over and get more value out of it over time. Plus, you kind of expand your perspective. You see new things, you try new things, and you never know what you're gonna like find that might really align with you actually and make like their life better.
That's a great one. I also heard that when you pursue experiences, you value it higher than things because things are very easy to compare. Like you can look at your car and very easily compare it
Yeah.
with your neighbor's car and be like, this wasn't good enough. But if you have, this great vacation down in Mexico, very hard to compare that with the yoga retreat that your friend had in South America. It's like, well, we both enjoyed. So
Oh,
how do we
exactly.
compare?
That's a good point. Yeah, yeah, that's a really good one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just there's no way. So you just have your own experience of it, your memories, and that's what matters. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
Bingo. So there you have it. How to pursue less. Very simply.
Yeah,
I think we answered all the questions on that one.
there's no more.
Yeah. So, anyways, this is the Existential Stoic podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to like, share, subscribe. Give us a review on Apple Podcasts, particularly if it's a good one. And
Or
we'll
only.
see you. Yeah, I know. Right? We'll see you next. You may not know it, but they're like gold to podcasts
Yes.
when you give a good review, specifically on Apple Podcasts. But anyways, thank you so much for listening. We'll catch you next time. I'm Randy. That's Danny. I'll see you later, Danny.
Later, Randy.